I'm so glad you're here. Grab something to drink, get comfortable, and just breathe for a second. What's coming through today is tender and vulnerable, and it's arriving sooner than you think. Ready? Let's see what's unfolding. Mm. Okay, someone's been carrying feelings that have grown too heavy to hold in silence. And tomorrow represents the breaking point. Not chosen strategically, not planned with precision, just the day when their capacity for containment finally fails. Love has been building in them like pressure, and pressure always finds release eventually. This isn't casual interest preparing to be expressed. This is actual love, deep, frightening, consuming love that's been growing in darkness because they were too scared to let it into light, too terrified of what speaking it would change, too aware that confession is irreversible. Let me describe what love looks like when it's been held too long. Some people confess feelings early, when attraction is fresh, when admitting I like you carries minimal risk because investment is still shallow, when rejection would sting but not devastate. But this person isn't there. They're past shallow, past casual, past the place where confession is low stakes. They've fallen completely, built entire internal worlds around the idea of you, let you become essential in ways they didn't authorize or intend. And now they're sitting with feelings so big that continuing to hide them feels like slowly suffocating. Tomorrow, specifically tomorrow, something shifts. Some final straw breaks. Some moment of clarity or desperation or courage arrives that makes speaking finally feel less dangerous than continuing to be silent. And you're going to receive confession you might not have seen coming, might not have prepared for, might not know how to respond to immediately. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider, is there someone in your life whose energy has felt different lately, heavier with something unspoken? Maybe they've been acting strange around you, more nervous, more careful, like they're monitoring themselves constantly to avoid revealing too much. Or maybe they've been creating distance, pulling back not because they care less, but because they care too much to stay close without confessing. And distance feels safer than proximity that amplifies feelings they're trying to manage. Some people withdraw when they start loving because loving makes them vulnerable, opens them to rejection, gives someone else power to destroy them. And they've been hurt before in ways that taught them protection through distance. You might have interpreted their withdrawal as disinterest, as them getting over whatever they felt, as confirmation they were never that invested to begin with. But the opposite was happening. They were falling deeper while creating space to hide the falling, managing overwhelming feelings by reducing contact that made feelings more overwhelming. And tomorrow, that management strategy ends. Tomorrow, they stop hiding and start revealing. This reflection invites you to consider, is less than hash zero. 5 hash is greater than, have you been misreading someone's distance as disinterest when it was actually self protection? There's something specific about what so in love means versus just attracted or interested. Love means they're not just drawn to surface qualities, they've gone deep enough to understand your complexity, to have seen your flaws and decided those flaws make you more lovable, not less. They know things about you others don't, have paid attention to details you didn't think anyone was noticing, have built understanding of who you actually are versus who you perform being. And that understanding created attachment that simple attraction never generates. They're not in love with the idea of you. They're in love with the complicated, contradictory human reality of you. Some people fall in love with potential, with who someone could be if they changed in specific ways. That's not love, that's just projection. But this person loves you as you exist now, not waiting for you to become something different, not trying to mold you into partner they actually want, just loving the actual you that actually exists. That's rare and terrifying for them because loving someone as they are means accepting you might not love them back, means they can't blame rejection on you not being ready or not understanding them yet. If you say no, it's just no. No qualifications. No, maybe when circumstances change. Just the reality that they love you and you don't love them, and that asymmetry is permanent. This reflection invites you to consider when someone loves you completely as you are, does that create pressure or peace? Let me describe what might happen tomorrow when they finally speak. They might plan elaborate setting, ask to talk, create context that signals seriousness, try to control variables to maximize chance of favorable response. But planned confessions often fail because anxiety disrupts planning. They forget their prepared words. The moment feels too big for the script they wrote. And what comes out is messier, more raw, more honest than what they rehearsed. Or they might just blurt it, lose battle with restraint in random moment, let feelings spill during casual interaction because holding them in one more second becomes physically impossible. Those confessions lack polish but carry undeniable authenticity. Nobody performs that kind of vulnerable spontaneity. It only comes from feelings too big to contain. Some people confess through action before words. Change how they treat you, start showing up differently, make their care so obvious that the words become almost redundant. But others need the words, need to speak love out loud even when actions have already telegraphed it, because saying it makes it real in ways demonstration alone doesn't. Tomorrow you might receive all three: the planned speech that becomes a raw confession that's been demonstrated through changed behavior you maybe didn't notice until the words give it context. And receiving someone's whole heart offered without guarantee of reciprocation requires presence, requires actually seeing them in their vulnerability instead of immediately focusing on your response. This reflection invites you to consider, can you receive someone's love confession without immediately making it about whether you love them back? There's something important about what you might be feeling right now reading this. Maybe hope. Maybe this is confirmation of something you've wanted. Maybe you love them too and have been waiting for them to be brave enough to speak first. And if that's true, if this is mutual love, just waiting for someone to initiate tomorrow could be a beginning of something beautiful. Not because love confessed always works out, but because mutual love that finally gets expressed has fought through enough fear to have real foundation. Or maybe dread. Maybe you know exactly who this is and you don't feel the same way. And tomorrow represents moment you'll have to hurt someone whose only crime was loving you. That's hard. Receiving love you can't return is its own kind of painful. You didn't ask for their feelings, didn't encourage them knowingly, and now you have to deliver rejection to someone vulnerable enough to confess. Some people avoid that discomfort by being vague, by not quite saying no, by leaving hope where none actually exists because definitive rejection feels too cruel. But vague is crueler than clear. Prolonged uncertainty is worse than immediate pain that at least allows healing to begin. Or maybe confusion. Maybe you're not sure who this could be. Or you have suspicions, but they seem unlikely. Or you thought you knew how everyone in your life felt about you, and this revelation means someone's been hiding major feelings successfully. Confusion is valid. You're not required to have anticipated everyone's internal experience. People are allowed to have private feelings, and those feelings becoming public can be disorienting, even when they're welcome. This reflection invites you to consider, if someone confessed love tomorrow, do you already know what your answer would be, or would you need time? Let me address what happens after confession changes everything. If you reciprocate, if this is mutual love finally finding voice, everything shifts. What was undefined becomes defined. What was possible becomes actual. What was potential becomes relationship. And that shift is exciting and terrifying simultaneously because undefined has freedom, actual has responsibility, potential can stay perfect, relationship has to navigate reality. You'll have to figure out what love means practically, how you show up for each other, what you need, what you can offer, how to translate feelings into functional partnership. Some people are better at loving from distance than loving up close, better at pining than partnering. The fantasy is more appealing than the reality. And confession that leads to relationship sometimes reveals that what they loved was the longing itself. But if you don't reciprocate, if their love is one sided, tomorrow becomes ending instead of beginning. Not necessarily ending of all connection, but ending of the dynamic as it existed, ending of the possibility they were holding on to, ending of whatever hope kept them close despite uncertainty. Some friendships survive unrequited confessions, others can't. The person who confessed can't unknow that they love you and you don't love them, can't return to casual when their feelings are anything but. And you can't unknow it either. Can't interact with them the same way once you're aware their every interaction carries weight you're not reciprocating. That awareness creates awkwardness, distance, careful management of boundaries to avoid accidentally encouraging feelings you don't share. You remain in complete control of how you respond to tomorrow's confession. You can reciprocate or decline gently, need time or no immediately, honor their courage or protect your boundaries. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has brought up specific people, maybe certainty about who this is, maybe hope it's someone specific, maybe dread it's someone specific, maybe complete confusion about who could possibly feel this way. Whatever it is, honor it. Take what resonates. Softly release the rest. Trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If someone confessed they were in love with you tomorrow, would you want advance warning or prefer to be surprised in the moment? Drop it in the comments. And this, does knowing someone loves you change how you feel about them, or just clarify what was already there? This person is so in love with you and going to admit it tomorrow. And when they do, Your response will either begin something or end something, will either confirm that love is mutual or establish that it's one-sided. Either outcome is valid, either response is okay. You're not obligated to return love just because someone offers it, but they deserve honest response to honest vulnerability. Not eventually, tomorrow, literally tomorrow. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you'll know how to respond when the moment comes. Trust that you can honor someone's courage without betraying your own truth. Trust that whatever you feel or don't feel is valid regardless of what they're feeling. See you in the next one. And listen. Love confessed doesn't create obligation.